Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with
Raquel Atawo.
Raquel. Thank you so much for joining us today. Your program has achieved a lot this year, and now you're in the NIT Championships. What's it been like getting to this point in the season?
Well, it's been a long year, a really good year, though. We've had very competitive matches all throughout the year. Even the matches when the scoreline says 4-0 or 4-1, they've all been very competitive. Not really any easy matches, and we've really shown up every time, and that's what I'm really proud of the girls for. Every time we step on the court, we've just fought really hard till the last point was played, and so that's what I think makes a really successful year.
And for you, we had a chance to do some social stuff with your team, and it seems like your team has developed such a camaraderie and have become so close. How do you develop that team chemistry so quickly at the beginning of the year?
Well, some of these girls have been together for 3 years, 3 or 4 years. Our seniors have been together for 4 years. We have Maxine, who redshirted, she's been here 4 years as well. So there's definitely a core who have been together for a while, and I think that's kind of where it starts. And so they've grown together, and then as we've added new pieces, they've blended in really well. I think we've recruited right with the right personalities and characteristics of no drama, just get to work, and nice girls who want the best for each other. So that's also made it an easy transition.
So for you, when you talk about recruiting and character, what's the number one piece of character that you look for in each player to kind of bring them to your program to integrate them so well?
Well, I think a passion for the sport, a passion for competition, competing hard, liking to be in tough and challenging positions, because that's what sport is all about. It's overcoming, adversity. And leadership. I think having girls who want to take the lead, who want to speak their mind, speak up, and lead others, are really big traits that we look for.
So for you, with the background that you have, what do you kind of instill in your players? Coming from, you've been top 10 in the world, you played doubles on the pro circuit, you've had a very successful pro career, I would say. What do you take from that experience and kind of tell your players when they're playing college tennis?
Yeah, I think it starts with discipline. You've got to show up every day and do all the necessary things. There's a lot of things that if you want to excel in anything in life, there's a lot of responsibilities that you have to take on and do them as best you can. From eating and sleeping right, and how you take care of your body. Even resting is really important, making sure you're getting enough rest. And I think, just staying in the process. I think, trying not to focus so much on winning and losing, and staying in the process.
And you were an assistant at Auburn before you came to Washington State, and becoming a head coach of a top program. What was that transition like for you, or what was the learning curve coming into a school like this?
Oh, it was very steep. Yeah, I'd only had one year as an assistant coach. And even though I did learn a lot that year, it's definitely different stepping into the head coaching role, and everything kind of rests on your shoulders. And so the learning curve was very steep. But I had support, I had some help along the way, and you learn from your mistakes, and you get better.
So what's one piece of advice you would give yourself, knowing what you know now, knowing what you've been able to accomplish here? What's one piece of advice you think you would give yourself before coming to Washington State?
That's tricky.
Today's interview is brought to you by Universal Tennis Power Subscription. Not only do you get to see a more detailed number to see where you stack up against your opponents and other players on the UTR Sports website, but you also get power perks. Includes 30% off Tennis Warehouse, 30% off Total Pickleball, 35% off the UTR shop, 25% off Diadem, $30 off Whoop, and 20% off print, and so much more. If you are interested in that and you're interested in supporting the YouTube channel, make sure to check out the link in the description.
Like, if you came, what's one thing that you learned at Washington State as a coach that you wish you knew coming into being a head coach or becoming a head coach of a program versus being an assistant?
Well, I already knew it was going to be hard. So.
Okay, that's that we got that out of the way. It's like, okay, this is tough.
I was expecting challenge, so.
Okay, that's good.
I was ready for challenge.
I would hope so.
Oh, I have something, but I'm not going to say that.
Okay.
I'm not going to say that.
Let's change up the question a little bit then for you. Looking at what before you started, I guess, playing tennis, or what's one piece of advice you would have given yourself to do it all over again?
Don't take it too seriously. I wish I was a very serious, junior and coming up. I think a lot of, particularly female tennis players, are very hard on themselves. I wish I had the perspective of, more positivity and being a little easier on yourself, not so perfectionistic. I wish, each day was a little bit more of like, oh, we're just, what coaches tell their athletes, like, we're just trying to get one step better today, don't worry. Have a little more of that attitude of like, it's all good, we'll be out here tomorrow.
Love that.
I wish I hadn't taken it. I wasn't so hard on myself.
So would you say you were a perfectionist on the court playing?
Yeah. I think a lot of tennis players are. It's a very repetitive sport where you drill, and when you miss one, you're unhappy. So I think,
Yeah, you can swear. It's okay. I thought you said shh, and I was like, wait a second. Is this going to be the first time a coach swore on the channel? It's like, we're getting there. Remember, don't take it too seriously, right? It's not supposed to be serious. That's fair. I think, when did you learn that tennis wasn't about perfection, at least through your career? When did you realize that?
As a coach.
I realized it now. I realized it now. That's fair.
Yeah. Sort of. Later in my career. I had a long playing career. So definitely as I got older and matured a bit more, I understood that. But and maybe with some success, when you get some success, you also can kind of like breathe a little bit more, but because you're seeing kind of the dividends of all the work you put in. But I would say it's much easier as a coach to give those messages
from the outside, and you're like, oh, this doesn't matter, but then you get on the court, you're like, you're just very stressed. And I appreciate you doing this. I really appreciate your time. The last question I have for you before you go is, what's the one piece of advice you're giving to your players before tomorrow's championship?
Oh, I just gave them a speech on positivity.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah. Can we hear some of the speech? I would love to be a part of the team in this.
I said, do not waste any energy on being negative. Stay positive from the first point to the last point. This is the last match of your year. Let's leave it out there, no regrets. And if you have any ounce of negativity, you're going to regret it.
You know what? I'm going to play this video before I have to do anything to motivate myself. I absolutely loved it. Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.